My father was a lovely man and signed up at Cambridge to do a degree. So he was there from then and spent a lot of time on the tennis court, not with his books. So he was not a great student. But he passed, he graduated from Cambridge, and at that point he really didn't know what to do. He went into the consul at the time and worked in Liverpool for a few years with Chinese seamen who were in commercial boats and in the Navy. When he was there, actually, he talks about Liverpool being the origins of regional Chinese food in the UK, because each of the seamen used to come in groups of men that were associated with one particular village in China, and they would all live together in a house, and in that house they would open up the kitchens to people in Liverpool, to ordinary people in Liverpool, mostly other Chinese, but also anybody else that knew about them. So each one there would be a swatao house, and there would be a shaman house, and there would be all these different houses that were serving different types of Chinese food, that just their home food really. So I think the first entry into the world of Chinese food for him was as a restaurant reviewer for Egon Ronne. He liked eating very much. He cooked, rather like me, he cooks very, he would cook on Sundays with my mother, and we'd have a mix of English and Chinese food. He would always take the roast dinner that was made on Sunday and stir fry it on Monday, that sort of thing. And one thing I always remember myself is that if we were upset, if things were going wrong, and we were a wild, crazy teenage family, the four of us, very badly behaved, and when things went wrong, he would never talk to us. He would always produce hong sao ro, or some other kind of food, which was a kind of comfort food. And so he wasn't very emotionally expressive, but he was always there and supportive, and that support really came through cooking. I think something that's really funny is that because he couldn't be an ambassador or a minor consul or anything for China, he became a cultural ambassador for China, and I think almost had more influence on the transmission of Chinese culture to the UK than even now. If you talk to people of my generation, they all have his cookery books. So he really took Chinese culture into people's kitchens in a way that nobody had done before. I come from sort of academic world where we think that everything changes, and it should change. I also come from a father who created the British Chinese cuisine. So I don't really have a problem with Chinese food changing and it mixing with other cultures. I think it's really important and interesting to retain the identity of Hunanese cooking and of Sichuan cooking and of all these different regional variations. But in the end it will all change. Now, that menu that my father created with Campo Pot in Memories of China was a very successful menu. And that has been replicated all around Britain in sort of, actually probably rather expensive range Chinese restaurants.